All right, guys, welcome to Agent After Hours. I'm here with Jim Ferguson. We're going to talk a little bit today about building a team because you've built a heck of a team. So how did you get started in real estate and what made you decide to start a team and kind of the transitions you've had over the years with that?
Well, I got into real estate in 2005. I'd been investing in real estate for 3 or 4 years previous and just thought, why am I not doing the whole shebang? So what I decided to do is get my license, quit my day job, and jumped right into real estate with both feet from an investing standpoint, just from an agent standpoint. Decided that I wanted to be more on my own, got my broker's license, and John Weaver and I, we started Apex Realty Group. That was in 2009. We grew that to being the biggest small brokerage at the time in 2012. Beginning in 2013, and just thought we had hit a ceiling there. We didn't think that we could get any bigger without making a change. And for us, it was aligning ourselves with a bigger brokerage. And that bigger brokerage is an international company. It allows us to, in a sense, more or less recruit inside the office, which is a huge deal for us. So we're able to take our team at the big brokerage, just like here at RE/MAX, and decided to expand. And that's where we got to top 10, top 15 this year in just this little Northern Kentucky market.
It's awesome. So I think one of the things we talked about before I really hit go was you starting out as independent brokerage, and one of the things you said was, hey, I don't necessarily love wearing all the hats, CEO and janitor.
Yes.
And that's kind of what you took off your plate, going from independent and the broker owner and then moving to just the team leader. How has that allowed you to continue growing your team?
Well, because I don't have to wear so many hats, I'm able to focus more on my personal business and the growth of the small team, and really the liaison between the agent and the broker at our office. I can kind of be that broker for them without having to go through 6 different channels. So being that our team is still growing in a evening out market, not really a down market, but evening out market.
Sure. You've seen the down market.
Yes, that was thin living for quite a bit,
Yes.
at least 3 years. It was tough.
Same here.
Yeah.
So what is the focus of as a team leader, what is your focus on, how many team members do you want? How do you recruit new team members? What do you tell somebody that's looking to start a team, I guess is what I'm looking for.
To me, it's not about quantity. It's 100% quality, and it takes a little bit to go through that. Does anybody have a chance to come on my team if they want? If they want to, yes. It's just, we see if it's a good fit. But it's when you take on a team member, you're taking on their whole family. So I always encourage when I interview agents is if they could bring their spouse or their significant other, or if it's just a mother-daughter or mother-son, something like that, bring both, because I'm in a way somewhat responsible for that income. The agent ultimately is, but I'm going to be the one who's going to be consulting and helping them grow, and I want to know if this is going to be a good fit.
I love it,
because it's not for the weak of heart. This is a tough business.
Yeah, I think and to some extent it is just like interviewing sellers or sitting down for a listing presentation, I should say, because they're not always the decision maker if they're making a leap into real estate or if they're making a change in brokerage. That's a conversation they're going to go have with their spouse or significant other, because it does affect their income. It does affect their livelihood and how busy they're going to be, and are they going to miss kids' sporting events,
right,
or what are the expectations? So.
Well, the other side of the coin, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You talked about missing things. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
It's the money. Mm-hmm. It's like, are you okay with your spouse not contributing to the family for upwards of 60 days?
Yeah.
Sometimes 90 days. I've seen them go as long as a year. Now, we go different routes when that happens, but that's the big question. Will you be supportive for this one heck of a career that could be way up here? You apply yourself, but it's going to take a little bit of sacrifice at the beginning.
Playing minor league baseball for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So for somebody that wants to start a team, what mistakes did you make? That's my favorite question, because we learn. I don't call them mistakes. I call them tuition. We paid a lot of tuition over
Yeah.
the years. So what tuition gave you valuable lessons?
I think the ones that jump out first is making the wrong hires, and that's twofold: is the wrong agent that maybe that should be with a different brokerage or a different system, and the other one is when I hired multiple times the wrong ISA, inside sales assistant.
Yeah.
It takes a certain personality, someone who has to be in a room by themselves, more or less. Dial and record. That has cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars in misappropriated funds that if we would have just let it to the professionals. I mean, just now, 20 years or so in, I would definitely hire a third party that does just that.
Yeah.
Or make enough money to where I could have an office of just my callers and dialers. That's
Sure.
what they do for a living. Those were probably my two biggest.
So you don't rely on your buyer's agents to make those calls. You have an ISA that's consistently following up with leads or business.
We do. I left it up to the agents, the starving agent, the agent that just had to make a sale this month, and it still didn't happen.
Yeah.
It could be a combination of no phone call or a combination of I don't know what to say to convert. So then we decided, okay, we're going to charge our agents a little bit more money if you don't want to do it or you can't do it, and we're going to go ahead and have someone make those phone calls for you.
I love it.
Yeah, and
Because, look, there's a million ways to cut up this business, and there are different niches for everybody. There's online leads, there's cold calling, there's for sale by owners expireds, there's sphere of influence. Everybody has a different niche, and that's absolutely fine. If you told me to sit in a room and cold call for hours on end to expired listings or for sale by owners, I started that way. I hated every minute of it. Like, that's not my personality. That's not what I would want to do. And so I'm not cut out for that job. There are many other agents or ISAs. They love it.
yeah. But you just like, I'm not cut out for that. I know. You're telling me you're not cut out for it. I would go as far to say as 99.5% of humans are not cut out for it. And I was trying to say is when I was going through this process of wrong hire, John and I realized we're not good at hiring either. That's another bad part of it.
Sure.
So let's read some reviews of some of these people that offer some outhouse inside sales. And it's been successful.
Have you ever had an ISA start recruiting for you?
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying, do I have a...
Yeah, making those calls to potential buyer's agents for your team.
Absolutely not. That's a good idea.
I just came to my head now. I was
Yeah.
like, huh.
Yeah.
Because if making the wrong hires, guilty. And we've had, recruiters work for us that weren't the right fit. So I fully understand this is an ever-changing and different business than so many others. And I think we pay tuition multiple different ways.
It's funny when you do have that recruiting call, because if you're in Northern Kentucky, there's 1,500 of us.
Yeah.
So you're kind of cycled in so often
Right.
from that. But I had someone who I couldn't quite understand call, and I said, I'm sorry, we all get
There's
a
a
lot of
language
recruiting
barrier.
calls.
Sure.
There's language barrier. So that goes back to you're hiring the correct ISA. It's got to be someone you can.
Well, yeah, it's very, I think in that case, being fully transparent, it's inauthentic. Like, hey, if they want to pick up the phone and call me, I'm happy to talk to them. But because I get calls still, it's because I'm still listed as an
Yes,
agent.
you are. Right.
So it's funny to me when I get the calls. 'Cause I'm like, hey, I don't know if you checked your stats or not, or if you know who I am, but I'm not going anywhere.
It's not going to work out.
Yeah, but anything else? I mean, obviously you saw the downturn in the market, 2008 through 2010, 11. What would you say to an agent that hasn't experienced that? Because so many that are in our market now or in the business now have not experienced kind of this, what did you call it at the beginning?
I don't recall.
An equalization or something like that?
I don't remember. But having experienced the downturn and knowing what happened to a lot of the people that I worked with was fortunate as we also, besides doing some lead generation for the agents, we also we encourage the agents to work by referral, and that's our goal. And we run about 95 97% of working 100%, trying to get to 100% working by referral. And so what we do is we do mailers, pop-bys. Pop-bys are stopping by with some popcorn if on a Friday night, knowing that your clients are going to go see a movie, something like that. We try to tie all of everything that we do. Just we had Dave and Buster's night for the first night of NCAA tournaments. That's the way
That's
that
awesome.
that's the way that we try to connect in a personal way with the clientele that we're trying to continue. It's much cheaper to keep a client than it is just to try to convert a new one.
Absolutely. And we've all had the cousin or uncle or aunt or whoever in your sphere that goes to an open house and writes the offer because they forgot you were an agent. So
My dad almost did that. That's not a lie. Yeah, it was a Mike Parker van that goes past. My dad goes, he's sitting in the Drees model, and he goes, I'm going to be in so much trouble if I don't mention my son, who's also a real estate agent. So I was like, good God, Dad. Thank God we would have had a rough Thanksgiving.
yes, but you're right. And one of the things we just did as a team, because we're running out of ideas, we've done the same thing. We do usually a big movie in the summer for, we've done Despicable Me and stuff like that. Because you get a lot of parents that are taking kids, but we understand that, hey, not all of our clients have kids. And so we've done brewery nights and we've done different things like that. And we actually sent out a survey to our clients and said, hey, what do you guys want for the next event? Because we're drawing a blank. And most of them came back with like a wine tasting or a beer tasting. And we said, that's an easy one to have at the office. We've got a parking lot that we can set up, there's 4 of us. We can set up 4 different tents that will have different wines, have different cheeses, and we'll probably have a food truck come out. It'll be 2 hours and we're done.
That's a good idea.
Steal it.
That's the kind of stuff I need.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that. Didn't think about a wine tasting. But, going through that downturn, what I was bringing the whole taking care of your clients is we, as a small brokerage, experienced an increase in market share.
Sure.
Just as people dropped out, you kind of saw who was the main cogs in the Northern Kentucky real estate. And we fortunately were one of those, and that helped us during that time. So while everything else was falling off, we were able, that's not to talk about our success, that was to say, if you continue to do the things when you're busy, and you do them when you're slow, and you do them when you're busy, that line of income going up and down starts to become more of a flat, strong line because you've implemented all the stuff that will help you solidify your business.
Yeah, just like anything, we saw home sales go up, we saw agent count go up, which obviously diminishes the amount of sales per agent because we have 1.6 or 1.8 million in the entire U.S. and we don't even have that many homes for sale.
Right.
So everybody knows somebody that's selling at some point, and when you have that inflated volume of agents, it's going to take away sales from top producers. And then we see the downturns happen, and you see a bunch of them agents that sell 2 to 3 houses, if not less. I think I just saw a stat somebody posted yesterday in Cincinnati MLS that 49% of the agents in Cincinnati had not sold between 0 and 4 homes since the beginning of the year. And maybe it was rolling 12 months, but it was like, that's a ton.
Yeah.
And so you take those out of the equation because a lot of those will get out of the business. It's unfortunate. I think that there's room, but there's just not enough training. There's not enough. The barrier to entry in real estate is relatively low. So it'd be interesting to see what happens over the next 12 to 24 months. But anything else you want to add for a potential team leader or somebody considering joining a team?
I would say hire cautiously. Don't hire to hire. When you hire your first admin, make sure that you're ready for it financially, and your admin needs to be trained. But that was my first big hire to allow us as a team to expand because we got really focused on selling versus compliance and
Paperwork and
yes, and that was the first big hire that got us to that second level. And I think there's probably 5 above me, but we're at level 2, and we've been there for about 10 years. Hopefully level 3's coming up.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, Jim, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next one.